I've already spoken about Back to Reality at some degree of length in my Series 5 retrospective review, so don't expect this review to be especially long, but while you're here, why not check that review out? The opening few minutes of Back to Reality are dripping with atmosphere. A lot can be said for how good the dialogue is, but the lighting, set design and music all combined make for an atmospheric opening to the episode. It really adds a lot to the episode. The attention to detail is very good too. Perhaps the aesthetic of Red Dwarf is too often overlooked. After around 7 minutes, the big twist is revealed. The central characters that have been on our screens for 5 series now have really been characters in a video game. The twist only really works on the original viewing. When I first saw this episode, I didn't know what to think. As a twist, it works very well and does produce some great jokes. The alternative versions of the Dwarfers are fantastically realised. They are all in keeping with the proper versions. The best alternative version by far is the cat's alter ego, Dwayne Dibley. Dibley is a great character and Danny John Jules is really on cracking form. The performances were all top notch in this episode, more so than usual. If I had to pick a real scene stealer performance, it would be Danny John Jules as Dwayne Dibley. The alternative world is given so much in the way of detail and this just adds a lot to the viewing experience. This episode clearly wasn't made in a rush and a lot of thought went into every aspect. There's a good reason why Back to Reality is one of the best Red Dwarf episodes. Throughout Series 5, each episode to varying degrees had been filled to the brim with brilliant ideas and great wit and humour. Here all that reaches a peak. Back to Reality has a fantastic premise, a great idea, original and inventive humour and a logical conclusion. All of it just works superbly. The episode never tires and is paced wonderfully. Holly, who had a reduced amount of screen time in Series 5, is actually pivotal to the conclusion, and it is Holly who effectively rescues the rest of the Dwarfers from their induced hallucination. Holly was written out after Series 5, and this is the last we have so far seen of the Hattie Hayridge incarnation. So, Back to Reality is great. It didn't need to be the final episode of Series 5, Red Dwarf episodes are generally standalone, but for whatever reason, by being the final episode of Series 5, Back to Reality is just a smidge better than if it had been placed somewhere else in the series run. But yeah, Back to Reality is great. Some 28 years since it aired, it has aged very well and is still a hugely entertaining piece of science fiction.